Look, man, that was a reality check as we say good morning to everybody out there getting up their graveyard shift. I'm sure we're going to take a lot of calls today because that's what people do. When you lose, you call and you complain and you want to fire everybody. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that today. But the Niners are 5-5. They're a game out of first place. But by the tiebreakers, they're in last place in the NFC West. And they head to Green Bay and Buffalo over the next 2 weeks. And that could be, see ya, 2025. Good morning, everybody. Getting off your graveyard shift. If you're at work, what is happening? There's no good business for the overnight dancers last night. I can guarantee you
really?
that. Teachers, cops, firefighters, all that stuff. Spadoni in for Shasky. We got Carter in the building. We got Lubman. What up? What up, Spado? What up, man?
Hey, man.
What
How
up?
you feeling, Bonta?
Yeah.
You were at the game yesterday. I saw you. You had your two girls with you. That was awesome, man. You got Anna. You had baby Ches. It looked like it was raining a little bit at times there, but not too bad. Maybe a sprinkle here and there.
No rain.
Okay,
no rain at all.
Well, maybe the camera just got a little sprinkle.
Okay, got a little misty out there.
Yeah. So I was watching the coverage on my couch, and that was just a ugly divisional, just kind of slog it out game where, the Seahawks are feeling great about their chances because that was a season-saving win for them. Yes. And for the 49ers, it might be a season-defining loss for them at this point. That was just a game that you had 3 minutes and 40 seconds left and you're damn near at midfield with first down. 1st and 10. Basically at midfield with 3.5 minutes to go. Up 4, and you lose that game. It's inexcusable. It's what we've come to expect from this team this year. And I heard Trent Williams after the game, and he said it was an uncharacteristic loss. It's like, no. This is who they are this season. 10 games into it, I don't want to hear that. You are what your record says you are at this point, especially at 5-5. You're just a mediocre team. Yeah, you can win any given week, but you can lose to anyone on any given Sunday. And then we've seen that ad nauseum this year in the NFL. Hell, two different teams where their stratosphere is, but the Chiefs losing yesterday to the Buffalo Bills. Anthony Richardson looking good with the Colts yesterday. Like, things can happen on any given Sunday. And the fact that Geno Smith had never beaten you guys, he had the worst quarterback record ever against the San Francisco 49ers. It was one of the worst records ever a quarterback has had against San Francisco. 0-5 heading into it. That was personal for him, and he did a night-night on you. He did a Stephen Curry night-night, and that feels like the lowest moment of the season after that. It feels like it.
Yeah, there's been some low moments, right? Chiefs game.
Yeah.
This game.
But at least that's the Chiefs, right? It's Patrick Mahomes.
Cardinals game.
Yeah.
Rams game. That was
this team, though.
That was deflating because you come off a win against Tampa Bay. I'm going to break this game down. I don't think Brock was great. I don't think Shanahan was great. I don't think the defense was great. You got injury concerns with Nick Bosa. He's probably going to be out for a while. Fred Warner's out there. Hasn't had any big plays recently. Maybe he's just doing too much. Tarvarius Ward, unfortunately, is gone due to the personal tragedy. Yeah. They certainly missed him yesterday.
God, they missed George Kittle. George Kittle's the guy.
Kittle's the guy. I text Shasky that earlier in the game. I said, they just missed his juice. They don't have any guys who can create any explosive plays. Like Jawad Jennings tried to will that offense and tried to will this team to a win. And I think he's going to win the Lynn Eshmont Award winner, the most inspirational player on the 49ers is along. It's like the Willie Mack Award when it comes to the Giants. Jawad Jennings played his ass off, but there's no doubt they missed George Kittle. They missed George Kittle. We're going to get Jerry Rice on today at 8:30.
The GOAT?
I'm afraid that he's going to keep it too real about this football team. Maybe they need to hear that, but maybe it's just too late. Maybe it's just going to be one of those years. And this is solely on the offense, Spadoni. They finished with just 277 yards on offense. That's their lowest output in the game since Week 6 of 2023. And their longest play today went for just 22 yards. Tied for the second shortest for a game since Shanahan took over in 2017. Wow. And then you think about the penalties. So, there's going to, I was on Twitter a little last night, just kind of replying to the trolls, Spadoni. And
I love doing that.
There's a lot of fire Shanahan. I will want to know why you want to fire Shanahan, but two, players got to make plays and players got to execute. They racked up 9 penalties yesterday, Spadoni. 9 penalties. And they just continue to shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. So if you want to blame the coach for players not uncovering, missing tackles, fumbling, throwing picks, not containing Geno Smith, so be it. But this team is just not good enough. We may be getting to a point where we need to think about shutting McCaffrey, Greenlaw down, letting some of the youngsters play a lot more snaps, like a game like last night. I know I'm long-winded here, Spadoni.
No, you're good.
Isaac Guerindo's a guy I wanted to see get him on the field and get him in space. He did have the 76-yard run against Seattle up in Seattle in the Thursday night game. You need some juice. You need some explosiveness. You need some speed on the field. Not playing Guerindo yesterday is just criminal.
And on the flip side, we're talking about George Kittle missing him in the running game and the passing game. But after they lost Nick Bosa, Geno Smith just took off.
Oh, my gosh.
That loss of Nick Bosa, and Pam Oliver was on the broadcast. I don't know if you heard this, but she was saying Bosa was telling her it's not really a hip, it's more of an oblique injury. Yeah. And that's even more concerning, obviously.
And he already had an oblique.
And he already had that. That's the thing. And he re-aggravated it. Was it the same side? I'm not sure. But he talked about it after the game where that did not give me confidence when he said, this could be a long-time thing. I don't know. And we know Bosa's in their injury history, both him and his brother. They're going to try to protect themselves, as any player should. But after he left the field, Leonard Floyd made a play. They sacked, right? Him and Yetur Gross-Matos. It was too late. And then Geno Smith finally figured out, hey, when you're playing the 49ers, if you can scramble a little bit, you should probably do that because they can't guard running quarterbacks. And he did that twice in that final drive and obviously got the touchdown there. So no Bosa towards the end there, no George Kittle. Ricky Pearsall did diddly poo offensively after coming off a pretty good game with his first touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then Christian McCaffrey. I know a lot of people were thinking, man, you get him back. If he looks like the McCaffrey of old, hey, maybe this team could, get back into sync. They could go on a run. His stats say one thing, but when I watch him on the field, it said another. Slow. 19 carries, 79 yards, and he had 4 receptions for 27. So over 100 total purpose yards there for him, but
he's not the same McCaffrey.
Didn't have the burst. I saw more burst from a Jordan Mason one run from that toss play than I did from McCaffrey all day.
There's no burst from McCaffrey. There's just it's just bilateral Achilles tendonitis. What do we expect? This guy doesn't look the same. He's not going to look the same, and he doesn't have the quick burst. He does when he sees a gap, when he sees a lane, he just can't hit it like he used to. He just can't, and I can't blame him now. Going back to the because this is a great point about Chris McCaffrey, and I had a tweet last night where people say, Bonta, why would you take your game out of the playoffs? I'm not saying tank, but there's 2 guys here, Drake Greenlaw, who's up for a contract, and Christian McCaffrey, that I would just consider shutting down. Let Guerindo play, get D. Winters, Graham, and Devondre Campbell, all those guys playing alongside Fred Warner, and see if you can make a run at this thing. But on the flip side, you could get Guerindo, Pearsall, Cowing, great experience here down the stretch in high-leverage situations, and let them play so you can see what type of future they can have for your football team. But McCaffrey out there, man, they're shutting down the run in the middle. There's nowhere to run in the middle of the field. You try to get outside. He can't get outside right now. It just doesn't look pretty. But then you add in Nick Bosa, and you brought up Nick Bosa. He left early in the second half. When he was on the field, Seattle averaged 3.3 yards a play. When he left the field, and this is according to Nick Wagner of ESPN, want to give him his credit here, per Nick Wagner, ESPN. When he left the field, Seattle averaged 6.1 yards a play. 6.1 yards per play. So is number 97 impactful? Does he make a difference? You're damn right he does. And you can see it right away with him. He was compromised. His change of, so like the Madden ratings on change of direction, you know how you can get a 78, 85. His change of direction was negative 15. What? He can't move right now. Yeah. The hips is bothering him. The oblique is bothering him. He doesn't have a second move right now. So he played well yesterday considering what he was going through, but he's not right. And he didn't look right yesterday. So this team is beat up. They look slow. They look lethargic yesterday. It felt lethargic in the stadium, a 105 kick. It just may not be that year. And you know what? With everything that's happened this season, are we really surprised that they're at this point right now? Are we really surprised? I can't be.
They haven't beaten anyone, and when they've played decent teams or good teams, they've lost. This is who the Niners are. They are a 500 team. And no one's talking about tanking, because first and foremost, this team has too much talent still, even without some of those guys to tank. I don't know if you've been watching the rest of the NFL. There's a third of the league is awful.
It is.
Just god-awful. Look at the top 10 picks right now. If you go to tankathon.com and miss me with the Kyle Shanahan crap, and I see you're getting on Twitter, and I see it in my feed too. Shanahan. I was like, stop. Look at the first 10 teams that are picking next year and tell me, Doug Peterson, who should be gone, by the way. I don't know how he's not fired after that performance yesterday. Getting absolutely obliterated by Detroit.
They scored a touchdown on their first 7 possessions.
7.
They
lost Alex Anzalone, by the way. Broke his forearm. That's a big loss for them. He'll be back. But yeah, still a loss nonetheless.
Dude, they had 645 total yards.
It's bad. It's bad right now. You can look at the New York Giants. They benched Danny Dimes because they don't want to pay him $32 million if he gets injured. Finally bench him. So you got my boy, the Paisan, Tommy DeVito, to come on there.
Drew Lock. Is Drew Lock going to play?
No, they said Tommy DeVito.
They said Tommy DeVito?
Yeah.
I thought it was a Drew Lock.
No, they said, no, Drew, you can stay the backup. We're going to elevate Tommy DeVito from third string to starter.
Wow.
So the tank is on there. Raiders are tanking. They don't know what they're doing, although Brock Bowers looks good. They got absolutely destroyed against the Miami Dolphins yesterday. So there's a lot of bad teams there. Kyle Shanahan, yes, he's part of the problem. He's not the major problem right now, San Francisco. They just don't have the juice. But, we talked about that ad nauseum in the summer, Bonta. Coming off a Super Bowl loss, this is kind of what you expect from teams, to take a little bit of a step back. Like, we thought the Niners would be different, but why? They have so much wear and tear on them when it comes to all of these deep playoff runs year in and year
Kansas
out.
City? But what about Kansas City?
They have Patrick Mahomes.
What about Buffalo? They've been playing deep. They've been playing deep into the playoffs.
Not as deep as the Niners.
They've been playing deep. Buffalo's been in the second round. They've been in AFC championships. Well, I don't.
Do you want me to say it?
I don't really want to buy the wear and tear. Just this team has taken a step back.
I mean,
Colton McKivitz has taken a step back.
You mentioned 2 teams though with Josh Allen's MVP.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing.
Brock Purdy didn't have a great game yesterday.
Well, can we just keep it a buck? He's not a $60 million a year quarterback. I'll just come out and say it. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's a top 8, top 10 quarterback, and that fluctuates. He's there though. I'll take Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Damn, Justin Herbert under Jim Harbaugh looks like a completely different dude. Unbelievable.
Looks great last night.
But Brock Purdy, $60 million a year quarterback? Nah, he ain't. He's not that. He's not that. You want to go 30 to 40? Fine. He's not a $60 million a year quarterback. He's not. Let's just nip that in the bud right now. Now, if the Niners do give him that much money and say, hey, here's $60 million a year, you might be in some trouble organizationally. You might be in some trouble.
I'm just looking at the 2 contracts that happened this past offseason. What was it? You had Trevor Lawrence, you had Dak Prescott. How are those teams looking right now with those quarterback contracts?
Hell, I'll even go Evan McPherson with the Cincinnati Bengals.
You go kicker on me. Kickers, by the way, it's not looking good.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not at all. Good friend, Bo. What's happening, Bo?
Bonta, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning, Mo. I'm good.
Hey, two quick points. I appreciate your time. Number one, the word of the day is insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over, and you expect a different result, whether it's Debo in the backfield or every Tom, Dick, and Harry figured that out. You got to get rid of that play. The holding calls, the special teams, whatever it may be, it's the same crap over and over, and why we keep losing, and they never change anything about it. And then I think number 2 is the off season. It's going to be a big decision to make, and I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. You pay a quarterback, you have to get rid of people. Do you want to go that route, or would you want to go a route where you find some new, fresh talent at a really discounted, cheap, rookie rate or first-year rate, whatever it may be? I don't know who that guy is, and you load the team, or you could keep a lot of those players around or bring new people in. That's a big decision I think we're going to have to face in the offseason. Is Purdy the guy? Is it worth the money to get rid of the other people? It's a pendulum swing. What do you do? And I don't have that answer for them. I want to hear your guys' feedback about that.
Yeah, Mo, it's a good question. And it's a question we're going to have to answer all offseason until something gets done here. Is Purdy a franchise quarterback? I think he's a solid quarterback. I do. I think he's a solid quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? I don't want to throw the great word out there quite yet.
He was great last year, but everything was going well last year for the 49ers too. Now everything's not going well, and he looks pretty average. Like, they're an average team right now, and the quarterback's been maybe at times pretty good, but for the most part, like the performance yesterday when he got one pick and 1 touchdown, it was just kind of great. It was maybe good enough on some days to beat the Seattle Seahawks, but not yesterday. And I thought from the first game that they played to this one, Mike McDonald showed a lot more adjustments from his second go around as offensive or as defensive coordinator / head coach, basically, of the Seattle Seahawks. He did a lot more this go around, and they talked about it before the game, Bonta. It was like, we need to show him different looks. Yeah, we're going to respect his ability to run the ball, and they did. And Brock Purdy, to his credit, he ran it a couple times, but I thought overall in the running game, they did a pretty damn good job against Christian McCaffrey and co. It was the scrambles that got him a little bit, but you know what? I think they lived with that, and they ended up getting the win, and they shut down everyone else not named Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I mean, just the lack of explosion on the outsides was really alarming. It was really alarming for me. Pearsall, I didn't see get open. Now I need to watch the tape again. But just watching it from my seats, the all-22 view, it's like, where's number 14 at? There's defenders all in his face. Couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. Couldn't beat press man yesterday. Juwan Jennings, even though he wasn't gaining separation, he was able to catch a lot of passes because of his big catch radius. He's a bigger wide receiver, big guy, can high point the football. He's physical. Deebo Samuel could not uncover. I would like to see Jacob Cowie maybe get some touches here. Hell, even dust off Roddy Bell in a game like that. I'm desperate right now because you have no Brendan Ayuk, you have no George Kittle. Christian McCaffrey's clearly compromised. Colt McKivitz couldn't block you, Spadoni, right now. Jake Brindle in the middle, he gets no push off the line of scrimmage. This offense is a disaster right now. It's everybody. Shanahan, Purdy, Debo, Brindle, McKivitz, Trent Williams at times didn't play well. And we have a YouTube poll question up right now. This is wild. Several issues with the Niners right now. Who is most to blame? Is it Brock Purdy? Is it Shanahan? Is it special teams? Is it the offensive line? 59.4% said Shanahan. This guy's been so successful, yet his Q rating has never been lower. And I'm not here to say fire Shanahan. I'm not doing that. That's insanity. And it sounds childish. Let's just fire the head coach. Oh, just lost Super Bowl. Let's fire the head coach for next year. You don't do that. But the coach does have to look in the mirror and maybe make some adjustments here. Make some adjustments. And what are those adjustments? Maybe it's just a little bit of tweak in the scheme. Maybe he's giving the quarterback more on his plate. I don't know, but something needs to shake next season with Shanahan. And it's not telling him to clean out his office and get out of town.
No, absolutely not. I already alluded to how many bad coaches there are in the NFL and just bad teams that would just die for a coach like Kyle Shanahan. I can name all of them on my all 10 fingers. There does need to be a philosophical change, though, I believe, with this team. Because what I saw yesterday around the NFL, especially in that Kansas City and Buffalo Bills game, signaled something to me. Especially the Chiefs. They're the ones that started it. They looked at their team overall around Patrick Mahomes, and they were centered around him, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce. They were explosive, and you know what? We'll outscore anybody, right? And then they made a shift, and they shifted it all to defense. They realized they had to pay their quarterback $500 million, and he was worth it, and he's been worth it. They're going for a three-peat. But they needed a philosophical change within their team. And Andy Reid, an offensive guru, a mastermind, a guy that's been doing it for 20-plus years, was willing to do that and invest on the defensive side of the ball and invest in one of the best, if not the best defensive coordinator in the game, in Steve Spagnuolo. And it's changed everything for them. Look at what the Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, defensive guy, they've invested a lot with that defense. And I look at a team that was up there with those teams in the AFC that's taken a step back because they didn't do that. The Cincinnati Bengals, they were going all in on offense. You know, they're still waiting to pay Jamar Chase, but they paid Joe Burrow all that money. And defensively, that was what they were hanging their hat on when they were able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs a few years ago, Bonta. It was because of that defense. Where's that defense now? It's bad. It's not good enough. You saw it last night against the Chargers. Chargers, by the way, a team that looking like they shifted their philosophy. We're going to ground and pound, and we're going to lean on our defense. And Justin Herbert looks incredible now.
Does look great.
A lot has been taken off of his plate. So I just look at teams like that, and I look at what the 49ers are doing. Maybe there is too much on Brock Purdy's plate. Maybe he wasn't asked to do as much at times last year because everything else was going well, but now things aren't going well. So I think you have to adjust your philosophy. But that's an off-season thing. I don't think you could do that mid-season.
No, you got to do what you got to do. What you got to do, which is run the football and try to set up the play-action passing. But running the football right now has been tough. You're grinding for these yards. Christian McCaffrey averaged 4.2 yards a carry, and it felt like 3 watching it. It was like, man, there's not a lot of room here. You're not getting a lot of push off the line of scrimmage. So let's go to Casey in Scottsdale. Casey, what's happening? We're getting to everybody. Leland, you coming up. RJ, TC, and Zach, I see you. I see everybody, man. The hard hitters are coming out, especially after a loss. Carrie in Scottsdale, not Casey. Carrie, what's happening?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call, and I appreciate you guys providing therapy for your listeners this morning. The problem has always been, the problem will always be Kyle Shanahan. And the reason is because I was around for the 5 Super Bowl wins, and the biggest position that Bill Walsh and coaches took care of was the offensive line. And Kyle Shanahan's stubbornnness and ego, thinking that he can always scheme his offense when he really needs a quality 5-person line. He's 40% short right now with McKivitz and Brendel. And the offensive line is going to allow you to control the game, keep your defense off the field, allows you to run, gives Purdy time. And he just doesn't have it. We're not winning a Super Bowl until we get a full offensive line. And Kyle Shanahan needs to change his philosophy. They also need to get a little more creative. Why not Jordan Mason in the backfield and McCaffrey out in the slot? And on defense, a 4-man front and no blitzing when Bosa's out. You got to get creative. You got to think on the fly, and they're just not doing it. The Niners have a coaching problem. They have the talent, except for the offensive line. They really need to bolster up that O-line.
I agree. They need to both. McKivitz at right tackle is just a problem. If you don't have George Kittle out there chipping and helping him, he's barbecue chicken. He really is. He is food for the defensive line. There's no doubt. Let's go to Leland and Sack. Then we'll get to RJTC. What's up, Leland?
Leland? Is this Jim?
Hey, good morning, guys. It's Leland calling from Sacramento. Always appreciate the commentary and analysis you guys bring it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, I got a few, things to say, a couple points. Apologize ahead of time if I already covered something. A previous caller did, but I took some time and put some notes together. I'd like to pick on Nick Sorensen a little bit. I looked at him a couple times during the game yesterday. Cameras went on him, and honestly, he looks like a lost child on the sideline. The game went out, the 4 rushers over and over and over again, very vanilla defense, no blitzing. I think in the fourth quarter, that last drive, they blitzed one time. And I'm sorry, that's just not enough. And, that's coaching. They lost containment on Geno Smith, let him make that touchdown that won the game. And so I'm saying the defensive line, especially after Nick Bosa went out, they just didn't have it. They lost their touch. On the offensive side of the ball, the only person that earned my respect yesterday, you guys covered it, Juwan Jennings. That dude has grit, determination. And if more of the 49er players had that quality, they'd be winning games instead of losing. Offensive line, oh my gosh, so many penalties, offsides, holding to destroy drives, too many mistakes. The 49ers in short, they don't play like a championship team. Winning teams just don't make these mistakes. The 49ers are not going to make the playoffs, and I'm a fan. I'm just being real.
Real quick, Leland, how you feel about Shanahan? Because that seems to be a big talking point with all the Niner fans out there on the internet, in the streets. You're not firing Shanahan, are you?
No, Shanahan's got a good pedigree, and everyone deserves the opportunity to, do better. We got to remember, before Shanahan, there wasn't a lot to celebrate. Mm-hmm. He's been to the playoffs in 5 years, 4 times? Is that it?
4 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I'm not ready to jettison him. I just think that Shanahan maybe needs to reinvent himself a little bit. He's got a lot of hubris, a lot of ego going. It's tough being an NFL coach. Everybody loves you when you're winning. Everybody hates you when you lose.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt,
Thanks,
Leland. Good call. And you know what? The thing with Shanahan is they didn't really love him when he was winning.
No.
It certainly doesn't feel like it.
He definitely has, whether it's the way he speaks, the way he comes across, it's what he doesn't endear himself well to the fan base at times, especially when things aren't going well. But to be honest, Like, who does? Like, when it's Steve Kerr and the Warriors, like, if the Warriors go on a 5-game losing streak at some point this year, they'll have a little down stretch because every team does in the NBA. But it's going to be like, oh, Steve Kerr, these rotations, Bonta, I don't know, come playoff time. It's like, stop. Like, we know when these guys are at their best, when the team is playing at their best, they are a big reason why. And things aren't going well right now, and he's the head coach, and he deserves blame.
But
the penalties for sure, though, Bonta,
right.
That's the thing for me that is coaching. Like, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. Like, that's what they say when it comes to the penalties.
Well, when I think about illegal formations, that's because guys are not accustomed to being in a position to get on the field, right? You got so many guys in and out the lineup. You're lining up wrong. It's not a lot of repetitions in practice. But 2, holding calls. Come on. Holding calls, illegal man downfield. You shoot yourself in the foot. Players got to take accountability.
Yes, but it's also
too much. It's too much of the, when I see things like fire Shanahan, he doesn't have these guys ready to play. Well, these guys are millionaire players. Fred Warner had a quote earlier this season. Said, if you can't get up for this game, I think it was going up to Seattle.
It was the Seahawks game, yeah.
He goes, if you can't get up for a Thursday night primetime game and you need a speech, then you probably shouldn't be in this locker room. And it's the same thing with this damn team. If you need Shanahan to throw a Gatorade bucket or throw the chalk at the board and just throw the iPad to Microsoft Surface and break it, then you know what? You don't need to be on the team. Your season's on the line. It's the damn Seattle Seahawks opposing you, a rivalry game. You shouldn't need extra juice from the coach. Like, this ain't Little League. Wait, watching some movie any given Sunday with Al Pacino giving a speech to Willie Beeman and Cap Rudy? Come on, man.
I don't think Nick Sorensen, and I get it, because you got to point the blame at someone. I didn't think he was bad. Like, I didn't think the Niners defense was bad yesterday. The last drive was bad, but you also lost your best player for most of that half. Like, Nick Bosa was gone after he got that 1 sack on Geno, and then he re-aggravated that oblique/hip injury, and he wasn't to be seen again. Like, and yes, you pay Leonard Floyd, you'd hope he'd step up, and they were afraid. Clearly, they were afraid of blitzing because they thought Geno Smith would have picked them apart there, and he just scrambled instead, and that was the difference with those 2 major scrambles, the last one for a touchdown. So, like, we can get on Nick Sorensen if that's who you want to blame for yesterday. Score more points. Like, you got your head coach is supposed to be the offensive guru.
Yeah, no.
That's where it is for me. Your guy, Brock Purdy, is supposed to be the guy.
You know what, though? When you don't have playmakers, this is what happens.
Well,
there's too much juice on the sidelines. All right?
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, the offensive player of the year of the team.
Well, he's coming off a bilateral Achilles tendonitis. What the hell did we expect?
It's been 2 games
What
now.
the hell did we expect from him coming back? Did we really think it's a bonus that he's even playing? It's a miracle that he's playing. He's got bilateral Achilles tendonitis. Do you think the guy was going to look like the offensive player of the year? Like, we got to be, what are we on crack? Thinking that McCaffrey is going to come back like, oh, yeah, OPOY is coming back. He's not going to be the same. He's not going to have the same juice. He's just not.
Well, I know what Jordan Mason was looking like in his absence for most of the year, and he was looking like one of the best running backs in the league.
Well, there needs to be more reps for Jordan Mason. There needs to be more reps. But Jordan Mason was kind of tailing off a little bit. I want to see Garindo. You need speed on the field. It seems too slow as a unit. Let's go to RJ in Fairfield. RJ, what's happening?
What's up, RJ?
Hey, Bonta, thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
You guys are hitting it. You guys are hitting it today, man. You guys are on fire. I think with Shanahan, very stubborn, man. He is that guy that comes into the office with his spills coffee and just looks, he just looks down on everybody. For some reason, I think he just thinks he's smarter than everybody. And why is it me as a fan can see that we need playmakers out there, as many as we can? So why not put Isaac Guerrero in the back, and why not put Christian McCaffrey in the slot? I was calling that in the second half. He didn't make his adjustments. He stuck to his guns, and he defended it at the end of the game in his post-comp. His
presser.
What is it called? The presser.
Yep.
Yeah. My bad.
No, you're
and
okay.
then about Brock Purdy, man, he just looks limited, man. I mean, the size is starting to show. His arm strength is starting to show. I just watched Sunday Night Football, and I saw 2 stud quarterbacks pour their house out. I mean, the arm strength on them, they could throw beams. I mean, you see Joe Burrow just throw it with ease. And I think I'm kind of with you guys. I cannot see Brock Purdy getting a $60 million deal, not with as many limitations as he has. But I think I'm coming around to look at this season and say, we might have to take a step back, Bonta.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, man.
Yep.
But I love y'all, man.
Good call, RJ. Good call, man. Good call. As you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG FM and AC1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station, always live on the free Odyssey app. Look, I suggested that the Niners should maybe put more on Purdy's plate moving forward and playing Pearsall, Cowing, and Garindo a lot more because I want to see what these rooks can do. They have a lot of juice. I want to see them get used in certain ways. And, hey, can you build an offense around these guys? And then put more on Brock Purdy's plate because I need to figure out his damn contract. I need to figure out if I'm going to break the bank with this guy. Am I going to break the bank with this guy? Is he $60 million a year worthy? Come on, I don't know.
I'm curious to ask Jerry Rice and his thoughts on this offense because we're going to have the GOAT joining us today, Bonta Hill, courtesy of the River Islands guest line. And Jerry's going to be perfect to talk about what he saw from Juwan Jennings yesterday, what he didn't see with Ricky Pearsall, the rookie. Like, he's one of the greatest offensive players, if not the greatest offensive player ever right now. And he knows this team inside and out. He knows that locker room inside and out. He knows his coaching staff. What the hell is going on with this team? Is it just a lost season for this team?
Could be.
It might just be. Well, 888-957-9570.
Let's go to TC Sacramento. TC, what's happening?
Oh, we're going to Sac.
That's it. Bonta, what's up?
What's up, TC? What's up, my bro?
Oh, man, just vibing, you know.
Spadoni, you got to say good morning, Spadoni. You got to say good morning, Spadoni.
I felt it. It's all good.
My bad. Listen. Hey, Spadoni, listen. My bad, bro. My bad. What's up, big dog? Hey, listen, I just want to keep it simple. I'm asking the question. Hey, the callers was on fire. Listen, we can't keep dancing around the issue. The issue was Kyle Shanahan, period. We're not talking about let him go right now today. But this offseason, bro, that's the adjustment. The adjustment is get that guy out of here, man. It's not it. He's not it, man.
Hold on. Let's play this game real quick because we're up against it. Who are you replacing him with?
I'm going to get the dude Ben Johnson.
Okay, get this guy. Please stop. Stop it. No. I'm not getting Ben Johnson right now, Bonta Hill.
Let him finish the call. He's been on hold for a long time. Let him get his thoughts out. It's it. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's awarded opinion. TC, finish, man.
Ben Johnson is a guy. Everybody acting like he ain't the guy that we don't know what we're talking about. That's the shakeup. Get rid of Kyle Shanahan and move on. We got to find out if Brock Purdy's a guy. I'm with you, Bonta. Move on.
No, I'm not saying move on from Shanahan. You're not with me on that one. I don't want to move on from Shanahan. I just want to let you get your thoughts out there, TC. I'm not moving on from Shanahan. If he wants to call back on, Ben Johnson, whatever. You guys didn't even know who Ben Johnson was last year. Didn't even know who he was. I suggested Detroit. You guys are laughing at me saying, you think Derek Campbell and this team? Really? Well, now look at him. Relax. We're not going to fire Shanahan. He's coming into this season over the last 5 years. The guy was 54-29 and 8-3 in the playoffs. Come on, guys. You've got a winning coach. He's 54-29 and 8-3 in the playoffs. Get in the foxhole. Things are going to get turbulent, right? Right now, we're battling through a lot of turbulence.
I don't think a lot of Niners fans want Kyle Shanahan in the foxhole with them right now.
No, they don't. His Q rating's at an all-time low. All-time low with this fan base. There's no doubt. Well, what do? Is it all on Shanahan? Can you really sit up here, wake up after that game, and watch it back? And you think about what transpired yesterday at Levi Stadium, losing 20-17 to Seattle. It's your third division loss. You only won one division game. You got two more left with the Rams on a Thursday night at Levi's and the Cardinals in the last game of the season in Glendale, Arizona.
This schedule is brutal.
There's no doubt.
Packers, Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Lions, Cardinals. There is not one easy matchup there. No. Not to say any team's easy in the NFL, especially with this Niners team, but you thought the Seahawks one was going to be the last one because you've owned them 5 straight times. And
Six straight times,
excuse me. But 5-0 against Geno Smith, I should say. And, you lose that one the way you did yesterday, the way the Packers have to be feeling after getting that last-second block against their division rival Bears, the way the Bills are feeling after beating the Chiefs. They could beat anyone. The Bears are, like, that defense travels. Like, there's no gimmies on this schedule. There's no gimmies in general for the 49ers this year because they're an average team right now.
Hey, man, Gronk said it, and I'm going to steal this from the 925 on the Comcast Business side. Rob Gronkowski. He told Kay Adams this earlier in the year. I forgot all about it. But he just reminded me. Gronk doesn't sound too crazy now about how the Niners don't have an it guy. Or is it George Kittle was that it guy, and he was sorely missing? There's no doubt. I don't want to ever hear anything about George Kittle being overrated or not. George Kittle was George Kittle plays in that football game, they win, and we're talking about a victory Monday. And hell, we're probably not getting the calls we're getting, and we're probably talking about the Warriors or Clippers at this point. We are, really. That's where we're at right now. By the way, download the Odyssey app, 95.7 The Game. Thousands of other stations and millions of podcasts are free on the Odyssey app. Sports talk, music, news, great podcasts like Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys are all available. Follow your favorite teams like the Niners, Warriors, and stations and radio shows like this one. And catch amazing interviews you missed. Download the Odyssey app all day long. Jerry Rice, 8:30, and all guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Is it time for you to discover the islands? River Islands and Lathrop. Let's get to some lines here.
Real quick stat. George Kittle, career against the Seattle Seahawks, 56 catches, 808 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He owns them.
Go look at his last 6 games against Seattle. He's been all-time great against them. All-time great. He's a Hall of Famer. He's definitely the best tight end in 49ers franchise history.
One of the greatest tight ends in NFL history.
Yeah, he's up there. I don't know if
he's
maybe
one
top 10.
of.
It's a deep position.
I mean, it's him and Kelsey of this era for sure. And Kelsey's obviously getting a little bit older. Gronk I'd put up there. Gronk is just
Tony Gonzalez, Kellen Winslow, Shannon Sharp.
Gronk I always isolate too because I do believe he was the greatest all-around tight end.
Yeah, he was.
Ever.
He was. Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
Antonio Gates. Tony Gonzalez.
Dave Casper.
Dave Casper was good. He was good.
Goes to the post.
Let's go to Mr. D in the city. Mr. D, what's happening?
Hey, Bonta, hey, Spadoni, what's going on this morning, guys?
Oh, man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, man, listen, man. We got to have more versatility. Shanahan is too predictable. I'm not saying get rid of him, but he's too predictable. We need some
Hey, Mr. D, hold on. You got something playing in the background there. What are you listening to?
That's SF Bay drummer, my son. He's listening to us on the radio.
Oh, okay. Tell him to turn it down. Tell him to turn it down, and then you got to keep going, okay? Because we can hear ourselves.
No, it just came through on my phone, but it's good.
Okay.
We're good now.
Okay, cool.
But we need some versatility. What's wrong with a change of pace, running Mason or the other guy and let McCaffrey have a break?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I mean, put him in the slot. It's like when Shanahan doesn't have one guy, it's like he don't know what to do from there. And we got too many studs for that. You're supposed to be a genius. You need to know how to use the pieces that you got. Don't worry about the one you don't have. Worry about the pieces that you got. And I'm going to tell you something else. That locker room is fractured. And I called another show. I ain't going to tell you which one, but I called another show, and they said, well, they doing the dance and everything. Hey, everybody saw what happened to Eric Reed, okay? So let's ain't nobody going to step out on a limb. But I'm telling you, there's some people that don't like that. And if they won the Super Bowl, how many people are going to want to go to the White House?
Well, that's a conversation for another time because I don't think this team's going to the White House first and foremost.
They won't be there anytime soon.
No.
Well, Bosa may get a private invitation. But
maybe the Warriors.
Maybe.
Steve Kerr? Yeah.
Look, in terms of the locker room, I can guarantee you this. Shanahan hasn't lost that locker room. Those players swear by him. They're all in with him. I've seen fractured locker rooms like Jamar Chase yesterday after the game. Jamar Chase after the game yesterday, we could play it later, but Jamar Chase after the game, Kyle Madsen sent this to me. He was asked why the Bengals can't finish games, and his quote was, I play football on the field. I don't call plays for us, Like, you don't hear that from the 49ers. You don't never hear anything like that.
I mean, you got Micah Parsons outwardly just saying, yeah, but Mike can go coach wherever he wants after this year.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy. I mean, we don't have that going on. So I don't know. Like, I don't think this locker room's fractured. I think they're a frustrated bunch, though. They're a bunch. The players, man. Sometimes we got to put the players. I know there's a lot of shit here. Let's get to another call. Let's go to, oh my gosh. Where do we go here? Where do we go?
Lines are packed.
Where do we go? Let's go to Joe in Sacramento. Then we'll get to Verducci, the El Dorado Hills. We got Andre out there. We got Stu. Everybody's getting on here today.
I do love
Everybody's
that
getting out here.
We are the Sacramento station, even though we're in San Francisco. It's kind of cool.
Well, you got T-shirts with me on their face. They know what time it is.
There you go.
It's KC and D-Lo. You know I'm the real mayor of Sacramento.
Man, Sabonis is down for them right now. It's not good.
Rent-free up there in the 916, and I haven't been up there in a couple years. Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe.
King of Sac.
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I'm going to replay that last drive, at the 40, we sacked Geno at the 42 and he ran those last 42 yards basically, and there was no QB spy. This has a Brandon Staley, Nick Sorensen meltdown formula. I don't know, that's like the Chargers, just losing every close game last year. It's like his handbook is all over this defense right now. My family's making dinner, and I'm like, can't even eat food till this game's over, and I'm just know what's coming. And I have no appetite. This team makes me sick right now. I'm a diehard fan, and Shanahan's not the problem. Ben Johnson. Well, Shanahan is a winning coach in the NFL. He's not the issue, but we need some help in the trenches, and we need some help on the sidelines getting Brandon Staley and Nick Sorensen out of there.
Yeah, you know what? Brandon Staley has it out. I don't even know what Brandon Staley does.
I don't know either.
To be honest with you.
I'm not even here to hear that. Even Sorensen yesterday, again, I understand no one is above criticism on this team right now. But I don't come away from that game yesterday saying, oh my God, the defense, oh my God. They're great until they lost their best player on defense, and then they got gashed. That's what happens, unfortunately. Maybe you should have scored more than 17 points throughout the game. You got Christian McCaffrey back, you got Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy's going to get paid a lot of money.
We'll see.
We'll see. No, he's going to get paid a lot of money, and we're going to see how it's going to look.
We'll see.
I just don't think the defense, and all season long, and I was even going through every single win, loss they've had, they haven't let an opposing team score more than 25 of them all season long. In today's NFL, they've been pretty damn good defensively for the most part.
Situationally, though, you look at this number right here, and this is an alarming number. Most points allowed with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
It's them in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's number 1 with 38. Yeah. Niners number 2 with 36. Yeah. They don't get off. Arizona game. They're up Arizona. Jordan Mason fumbles inside the 10-yard line. We going to blame Kyle Shanahan for fumbling the football? No, Jordan Mason take care of the damn football. But Arizona takes the ball, runs it right down their throat. I mean, just literally, we're going to play power football. This is Pop Warner. This is, the Napa Oilers versus the Southern Marin Chiefs. We're going to run the ball right down your throat. Damn. And that's how they win a game. All right? The Rams. Oh, they had a short field because your punt team doesn't know how to contain, and Ronnie Bell doesn't know how to catch a football with his heads. So you blow a game there. They can't finish in critical situations. It's alarming. Can't get off the field. And that's what happened yesterday. But it was alarming without Nick Bosa, because with Nick Bosa, Seattle averaged 3.3 yards a play. When Nick Bosa left the game, they started averaging 6.1 yards a play. And that was per Nick Wagner of ESPN, who covers the 49ers, ESPN.com. You could see it. The pass rush was already compromised with Nick Bosa being. He wasn't healthy. His change of direction was so bad yesterday because of the oblique in the hip. Credit to him for playing. And then he just had to bow out. He was not right. He was not right.
I don't feel good about his chances next week.
Yeah, I don't feel the next 2 weeks. Against Josh Allen? Oh, my gosh.
Against Josh Jacobs? Against your boy James Cook? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Yeah. It's going to be a problem. So Nick Bosa wasn't moving well. So you hear the last drive, up until the last, Greg Olson's like, they have a blitz jet. They finally blitz. They get burned on the blitz. Geno saw it a mile away. It was a predictable cover zero blitz. Guys coming off the edge. Geno say, check. Let me hit Jackson Smith-Njigba for 5 and keep this thing moving. You got to get creative with the blitzes when you don't have Nick Bosa. You got to somehow, some way generate a pass rush. Geno was just too damn comfortable in the last drive.
And that's what, in the past, you got a guy like Talanoa Hufanga could come up there, right? And affect that in the blitz in the secondary, but he's been out. He wasn't the same player even when he came back from injury. Right. It's just, and you got a lot of young guys back there. Yep. That's the tough part about this. There's the good and the bad, right? We can celebrate when you have the young guys last week, like a Ricky Pearsall, right? Stepping up, making plays. Hell, Malik Mustafa at times, right? D. Winters had a nice play, a pass breakup against DK Metcalf, right? When they try to throw it to him, he gets his arm in there. But they're not going to be consistent all the time. And that's just the unfortunate part about this season right now. When you're relying on so many young guys, it's great when it's going well. And then when it's not, you can't get too mad at them. I'm not here to get upset about Ricky Pearsall not having a good game yesterday. Why? Because he missed the entire offseason.
But you know what, though? When you have a game like you did last week and you catch 2 passes on the final drive and, you make a big 46-yard catch and run, and Ricky Pearsall gets 2 targets and not 1 catch and 1 yard, and I'm watching Lab McConkey go crazy with the Chargers, and I'm watching Keon Coleman now, although he's got an injury right now. But I look at this, Spadoni, and we're going to monitor this over the next 4 years. The next 3 to 5 years, we're going to monitor these 4 players. Xavier Legette, from Carolina. Our boy.
That's a guy.
Country boy.
He sounds like Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Did you see him in London or no, in Germany when they're eating? Oh, nah, you need a little spice. Oh, dude, dude, it gets better with him.
No, man.
He's on Germany talking about, the little sauce just ain't the real barbecue. They had that twang, man. So anyway, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Legette, Keon Coleman, Lat McConkey. Those are the 31st, 32nd, 33rd, 34 picks. 3 receivers taken right after Ricky Pearsall. Now, it's too early to say whether or not Ricky Pearsall's a bust or he's going to be a player. I think the kid could be a player. But I'm wondering, like yesterday, I didn't see him open. No. I didn't see number 14 open at all. At all. Now, maybe I need to watch the film again. Maybe the experts like Baldy and Cosell will break it down and say, no, Pearsall was open. But I didn't see anything from him. I see Lat McConkey open all damn day. All damn day.
I saw Jackson Smith and Jigba, who plays the same position as Ricky Pearsall.
Open all damn day. All day. Keon Coleman starting to come on, starting to ascend for the Buffalo Bills. And his Xavier's out there wearing number 17, catching passes for Bryce Hall. He ain't a bad player either.
No, so he's on a bad team, but yes.
That's something we're going to watch over the next 3 to 5 years, whether we like it or not.
Well, was that a position of need at the time? Like, I know you were trying to maybe trade Debo, trade Ayuk. There was a lot of contention there. God, and even at the deadline, it feels like you could have used another edge rusher, whoever that is, some depth, right? Especially in games like yesterday when you needed someone who had juice, someone that you could bring in. Like, and I get it. Yannick Ngakoue he's not going to be the savior of this team. Zadarius Smith, somebody. Zadarius Smith, by the way, in his first game yesterday, got a sack with the Detroit Lions.
Well, yeah, there's been no drop-off since Aiden Hutchinson got hurt.
No.
I actually think their defense has been better, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go to man. This is frustrating. I don't know what to do here. I don't know. This is uncharted territory.
We
haven't been here since
right now.
2020.
Yeah,
we haven't been in this spot. We'll know 5-5, but I hate to be this guy.
Oh no!
But the silver lining is you beat Green Bay because Green Bay doesn't look invincible. They don't look invincible. You beat Green Bay. Seattle is playing Arizona, and the Rams are playing Philadelphia. We could be coming back in next Monday saying, wow, the Niners are tied for first place again. What do you know? It's laughable. I know it's laughable. It doesn't look good at all. But Kittle will be back. He will be back.
Yeah, but then Nick Bosa might be out. So that's the thing. This team can't play complementary football is the problem. When one person's in, the other's out. Oh, yeah, you got Brandon Ayuk. Oh, here comes Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall. No, I get it.
I'm not even trying to be a homer. We're pom-poms. Those are the facts.
See,
the facts are saying out loud, Shasky and I, that we both believe this team can make a deep run to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. This team might not even make the playoffs.
Oh, did I get fooled on that?
But the point is, they're one game out, and the Rams. Anybody think the Rams are going to beat Philly?
They might.
At SoFi?
They might.
They might. They might not.
They might not.
Arizona, Seattle, would it surprise you if Arizona lost that game? Would it surprise you if Seattle lost the game? Like, this division is a mediocre division this year. And it's the reason why 3 teams are 500.
I'm just looking at the schedule game, and I think we could do this because we're more than halfway through the season, and the schedule game compared to the other NFC West opponents does not favor the San Francisco 49ers.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
And the quarterbacks you're playing is also specifically what I'm watching, and I get it. Jordan Love hasn't been what Jordan Love was last year towards the end of the season, but he's still pretty damn good.
Whoa.
And they got a guy that they can lean on in cold weather situations now that they couldn't on in the past. And I get it. Aaron Jones was pretty damn good for them, but I think Josh Jacobs has been a major improvement.
He's tough.
He's very tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. We'll get to Green Bay later in the week.
Correct.
Ken Burkert, Benkert, backup quarterback with Packers. He's always tweeting and stuff like that.
Niners backup at one point.
Yeah, he's
practice squad.
Purdy was obviously forced to throw hot on that final 3rd and 11 because, it's a cover zero blitz. We don't know how to block that. Lord knows you want to third and long situations against the Niners, just run a cover zero blitz. You'll get home. Something good will happen
Brock's
for you.
not allowed to change the line. Remember that.
He has 2 plays. Then, that's a weird thing. The 49ers offense doesn't adjust, is what Kim Benkert was saying. 49ers offense doesn't adjust protections. They just throw hot. Other teams know this and can force their hand in critical situations, just like we saw in the Super Bowl. It's mind-blowing stuff that a simple flipper would fix. Interesting. Now you got people saying, fire Shanahan for Coach Prime. Imagine that. For a weight contest, business looks like, go get Coach Prime.
Because Coach Prime has just been amazing at Colorado. I get it. They've had a good year so far this year, but I think
they might be in the Big 12 championship.
We'll see. They're kind of fugazi, too. Although Travis Hunter is a baller, and I do like Shador Sanders, but let's relax here for a little bit.
It's a very different Big 12 than what we're used to as well.
We're left with excuses, injuries, sure, but what about building depth or having a backup plan? How many times do we have to look at our trash, offensive line, special teams, and dear God, get Campbell off the field? Kyle Shanahan needs to stop being a scheme guy and start being a leader of men, because right now the Niners need more than a genius on a whiteboard. They need someone who can win when things don't go according to plan. Thank God we got the Niners faithful to understand what I'm talking about. I'm out, fellas.
Tell me how you really feel. That's Verducci. El Dorado Hills, baby. It's Paisan. All right, wears his heart on his sleeve. I respect that. He's frustrated.
He's an Italian.
I got to say this, and thank you, Tony. What do you need to see from him that's tangible that can get this thing turned around? Because it's great when you just come at us with fire Shanahan, or I'm very upset with Shanahan. Come with what do you want him to do? You missed a first-team All-Pro in Charvarius Ward, who was out for personal reasons, still grieving the loss of his daughter. You didn't have first-team All-Pro George Kittle. You didn't have Nick Bosa, first-team All-Pro guy, a DPOY guy, in the most crucial part of the game. You have Christian McCaffrey coming off bilateral Achilles tendonitis, which he's still dealing with right now. Like, this guy's got problems all over the place. He doesn't have second-team All-Pro Brandon Ayuk. It just might be a lost season.
It might be.
It just might be.
It just might be.
Those are a lot of really good players I listed off, Bonta. By the way, Talanoa Hufanga, another guy that was an All-Pro player that you don't have. So, like,
play what, 2 games?
Sooner or later, exactly. Sooner or later, that stuff catches up with you. I'm sorry. It just does.
Tough day. Tough day. Are we firing? I'm not firing Kyle Shanahan today, but look, you talk about urgency or whatnot. They've got to create urgency. These players are grown-ass men. They've been playing football a long, long time. I don't know if you want a rah-rah speech from Shanahan, if you want him to throw a clipboard or whatnot. But at some point, when are we going to hold players accountable for jumping off sides? What about Leonard Floyd, who I was high on coming into the season? Leonard Floyd has done diddly-poo, diddly-squat. What about him playing and earning them $2 million and being a good edge rusher opposite of Nick Bosa? All right? Devontae Campbell, you bring him into free agency. Isaac Yaddle, you bring him in for free agency. These guys going to step up big. And you know what? The defense played fine. This is on the offense. This is on Deebo Samuel winning one-on-one matchups at the line of scrimmage. He just can't do it. He just can't gain separation. In the one play, he does gain separation on the final possession for the 49ers on 2nd and 11. Brock Purdy airmails it. Simply airmailed it. Play was there. He airmailed it. Quarterback's got to make the throw. All right?
He had 6 passes defended yesterday, the Seattle Seahawks team. Like, that happens a lot. Batted balls.
We saw it a lot with Jimmy, and we saw it a lot with Brock Purdy.
Especially Brock because of his height. Like, that's the thing with that. Like, as much as, like, we don't want to go back to, like, the skill set or the physical attributes of a Brock Purdy, that comes to rear its head more often than not when they're in the losses.
I mean, the plays, I don't even know if the plays were good because nobody can get off a press man. They can't separate. The Niners are one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to wide receivers separating at the line of scrimmage. Sounds like a personnel problem, which is why you draft Ricky Pearsall. But I don't know if Ricky Pearsall's that guy. 2 targets yesterday, and I swear to God, at times, Spadoni had to look down and say, "Is 14 out there?" Because he wasn't getting open.
No, and again, it goes back to Mike McDonald. I think he did a great job adjusting from that first matchup and their loss up in Seattle on Thursday night up until now. Again, no George Kittle changes a lot of that, but you know what? He wasn't crying about that. I'm sure the Seahawks were missing guys in that first matchup too that they didn't have and couldn't deal with. So listen.
You know what it sounded like? To cut you off, but
no, it's fine.
You know what it sounded like? Because we're going to take more calls here, and a lot of people talk about Shanahan. You think that if the 49ers just said, hey, we're going to listen to this fan base, we're going to listen to some of these idiots out here and fire Shanahan and move on from them, you feel comfortable moving on with Purdy instead of Shanahan? What happens if Purdy goes into another scheme?
Oh, I think
can Purdy execute it? Like, everybody's crying about Ben Johnson, right? Well, you see the way Ben Johnson runs offense. Can Purdy execute that offense?
That's a phenomenal question right now, Bonta, because it's not even close. If you were just to put both of these guys out in free agency, Kyle Shanahan or Brock Purdy, are you kidding me? Almost the entire league is taking Kyle Shanahan over Brock Purdy. It's not even close to me. Not even close. Stop. Full stop right there.
I'm asking the question.
No, it's a great question.
You guys ready to move on from Shanahan and just move on with Brock, or vice versa? Or just run it back with both? I mean,
it's interesting because if you ask 49ers fans, especially today, would they do a John Gruden type of deal like the Raiders did when they traded him to Tampa for a couple first-round picks?
Yeah, that would be a mistake.
That would be a huge mistake. But I feel like today, on a day like today, again, we're upset, we're emotional. People would be like, yeah, I'd do that. Stop.
Let's go to Andre in East Palo Alto. Andre, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Great morning show. You know how I started out, the best morning show in the morning, all day, every day. But yeah, just like how the passionate guy was on the phone a while ago. I mean, he hit it on the head, and I felt him. Like, Shanahan, you got to manage the game better, bro. Like, I know you've seen Christian McCaffrey. It's his second game back. He had no training camp. Second game back, he struggled a little bit. Throw the other two guys in there. They've proven in games that they can get it done. They've done it time again. It's just like how the other guy said, Mr. D from whatever. He said when Kyle Shanahan lose one guy, he act like the whole playbook is in the shitter. No.
Hey, we're emotional today, Bonta. It's all right. It happens.
Still there?
No. Yeah, he cussed. You can't cuss. You gotta take a play off for the day. It's all right. It happens. Get excited.
Just another day on the road. Let's go to Rocky and Vallejo. Rocky, what's happening?
What's up, guys? Very therapeutic show. Number one show in the Bay Area, no doubt.
Thank you, Rocky.
You know what? So. And everyone's talking about Shanahan. No doubt Shanahan had some bad, questionable play calls and this and that. But obviously you guys know he's one of the best coaches in the league. If we fire him, he's going to be picked up. My biggest issue is the defense in terms of the last play. You know, we have no sophisticated blitz. Any blitz that comes through are basically Fred Warner up the middle, and that's hella predictable. We need to mix it up, bring Mustafa on the blitz. Mustafa's a missile out there. D. Winner needs to play more. Campbell needs to be on the bench. And Brendel, man, this guy is horrible, man. He's got to be the worst center in the league. We got to bring Feliciano up. Bring him off the IR, and I'll take your comments off the air. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not going to solve everything.
It's not.
Yeah. It's John Feliciano, the guy that whiffed in the Super Bowl, one of the most important plays, too. He blamed it on his teammate. Okay.
Well, Burford did take accountability for it.
Exactly. Yeah, but Feliciano also
playing the blame game. On Twitter. That was weak.
I think
that was weak.
Stop. So, I don't think that's Feliciano. There's so many more problems with this team that I've listed off. Yeah. Just the missing of when you're missing your blue chippers, that makes a difference. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it does. I listed off all the guys you're missing right now that are first-team All-Pro players. You don't just make that up with a bunch of rookies. No matter how good this class has been, and it's been a great class for them. Yeah. This rookie class has been unbelievable for them, what they've asked of them, and with a Dominic Pooney, with all these guys that they've asked. But it rears its ugly head when you go up against some guys and some teams that have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba. And say what you will about Geno Smith. I know he has a lot of turnovers and he hasn't played well against the 49ers, but he leads the NFL in passing yards, and he will dice you up. And he did that yesterday when it mattered most.
888-957-9570 is the number. That is the phone number for you to call in and air your grievances and your frustrations on what the 49ers need to do to get back on track. Or is it a wrap? Is that it? Even though they're one game back of the Arizona Cardinals and it looks ugly right now, trust me. I feel dirty for even saying it. But the facts are the facts. I don't want anybody to get confused with the facts. Facts are they're a game back of the Arizona Cardinals. Facts are they still play Arizona. They play the LA Rams. But I get they play Buffalo and Green Bay and Chicago and Miami down in South Beach. I get all that. The facts are they can turn this thing around. Do I believe they can turn it around? It certainly doesn't feel like they can turn it around. But the NFL's been weird. It's been a very weird season in the league.
Yeah, it has been. The offense has been down, but do you attribute that to the defense? Do you attribute that to just bad quarterback play? It's been a mixed bag of a year. So maybe in a year like this, everything is just, you throw out your preconceived notions and you just go forward and see what happens. But
not only that, but Spadoni, people are talking about firing Kyle Shanahan. You think Jed York wants to spend more money on the fired coach and hire a new one?
No.
We got to also think about that. He's making over $10 million a season. He signed through 2026. So you're going to eat $20 million just to eat $20 million?
That's what bad franchises do. That's what the Las Vegas Raiders do when you fire Josh McDaniels or you fire John Gruden or you fire Antonio Pierce or if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what those teams do, firing a Doug Peterson, right? Like, that's what those teams, that's not what the 49ers do. They went through enough of that in the Chip Kelly, Tom Sula era where they don't want to go back to that.
Yep.
That was enough for them. And they've got a taste of winning. They got so close twice. And I think Jed York knows that. And I think Jed York likes being out. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight anymore. He's learned from that. He doesn't want to have to do those coaches searches again because, God, it's a nightmare. It's so hard to find a good head coach. I don't think people realize how hard it is.
Good coach and good GM and John Lynch. You got a good pairing here. You had a good draft with the rookie class. But Ronaldo Green, he could play. He could play. This guy's tough. He ain't afraid of no moment, man. He was going at DK. Ronaldo Green's tough. DeArmond Lenore's tough. He just gave him 5 years, $92 million, and a very team-friendly deal for this year when it comes to dollars and a cents.
He had 8 tackles yesterday.
So he was fine. Look, you've had some good picks. Dominic Pooney, you know you got a right guard. You know you got one here. But I'm not sitting here saying, hey, man, when you don't have Drake Greenlaw, you missed the juice defensively. You don't have George Kittle, you missed the juice offensively. And what we're finding out here is that Deebo Samuel may be time to move on after the season. It may be time to move on from him after the season because of what you're trying to do. And if you evolve and you want to have some sort of shift in a philosophical mindset here, and you want to do things differently, I'm not sure Deebo fits. I'm not sure he fits. Now, you get the ball in his head. Yeah, sure, he could break a long one, but I haven't seen it much this season. Really haven't.
I mean, the most glaring issue for me yesterday, and yes, offensively, was the lack of separation, but it's just, you need another number 2 beside Nick Bosa. Like, he can't do it all by himself. And sooner or later, this was going to happen with this injury and these piling up because he's just been asked to play so much more than he's used to in the previous years. His usage rate is sky high. And, he used to joke around with Baldy a little bit, and Baldy's going to join you guys tomorrow because he does each and every Tuesday at 7:30. Baldy's Breakdowns, one of the best in the NFL. But he even said, he talked about, he's like, yeah, man, your usage rate. I see this guy, Max Crosby, he's playing every single down, every single snap. Why aren't you doing that? He's like, yeah, well, I got to save myself for the playoffs. My usage rate can't be that high. I got to be fresh. Well, he's not fresh this year, and it's not looking good. It looks like he may miss next week, depending on how this oblique injury goes heading into Green Bay. So it's just stuff like that. When you thought Leonard Floyd was going to be that dude, he just hasn't been. And I feel like,
it's been disappointing.
It's been disappointing
with Leonard Floyd.
And it goes back to what you prioritized in the offseason. Ricky Pearsall, was that the pick in the first round?
Well, we're going to find out. When I see
what Jared Verse is doing with the Los Angeles Rams, Bonta.
No, it's
your guy out of Florida State. He's been balling.
Verse and Fisk. But not only that, I look at these 4 picks, and we're going to monitor this for the next 4 years. Pearsall, Leggett, Keon Coleman, Lab McConkey. 4 wide receivers went. 31, 32, 33, 34. And right now, the best of the bunch is Lab McConkey out of Georgia. It's not even close.
Those Georgia boys, man.
It's not even close. This guy, Lab McConkey, I didn't think he was going to be this good in the league. Damn. He's good.
And it's not like he was like an inch shorter than Pearsall. It's like his measurables weren't that crazy. Hell, our guy Baldy, who I just mentioned, he kind of, likened him a little bit to Ricky Pearsall. Like those guys he thought were kind of similar. So, and yeah, he's changed everything for that offense with run-first offense, by the way, with Jim Harbaugh, where we know very well. And Justin Herbert looks like a totally different quarterback now.
He does. He looks
incredible.
He looks incredible.
And that style of play travels.
He was throwing laser beams. Oh my gosh. I said, damn. Jim Harbaugh saved Justin Herbert's career. Yep. It's not that Justin Herbert wasn't talented.
No.
He had talent. We all felt like that, but it was like, he hasn't lived up to the hype. Damn, he's living up to it now, and the Chargers are rolling.
God, Cincinnati's defense is so bad.
Well, they made plays in the second half. They gave McPherson, make a kick. Make a kick. Burrow, you had Jamar Chase deep wide open.
And you hate kickers, Bonta. Keep it on the real.
I'm starting to hate kickers. I'm starting to hate them. They get on my damn nerves. Where's the creativity in the passing routes? The passing tree is so damn outdated. Oh,
he's been saying this for weeks, which is the problem. We were talking about this a month ago, Bonta, after the Chiefs loss. The Chiefs loss.
I feel like we've been saying it since the Super Bowl. And we hear Patrick Peterson, and we hear guys like Kirk Morrison, and we hear Baldy, and we hear everybody. Everything's just inside the numbers. The ball's going in the middle of the field. Now, you could deceive and have all this deception, but at some point, you're going to run out of talent, which the Niners are doing. And so, can we get hey, Pearsall, I want you to go run a 9 route. Go route. Just go. Just go.
I mean, we saw that with DK Metcalf yesterday. Ends up making the catch. He kind of stumbled out of bounds. If he stayed in bounds, that would have been a bomb touchdown.
Yeah,
if he didn't back into there, and they ended up scoring on that drive anyways. But you saw Jackson Smith and Jigma multiple times just in the outside numbers. And again, it goes back to arm strength. I know Jerry alluded to it. He thinks there's enough zip on Brock Purdy's balls. Yep. And I'm not saying he doesn't have the arm strength. He's not Anthony Richardson. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he has a strong enough arm. My whole thing was in these next couple games, and I wasn't saying, and you actually ended up asking the question I was trying to ask, but I wasn't taking a slide at Jerry or playing in cold weather or players in general. But that stuff matters in these cold weather situations.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see.
And the 2 coldest places to play in the National Football League, Buffalo, New York, and Green Bay, Wisconsin, coming up here. Mm-hmm. And there might be some elements. There's rain in the forecast this week in Lambeau Field.
Oh, well, you know what? This is football weather. No rain. What did Jalen Hurts say back in the day with the Eagles? Rain, sleet, or snow. The Eagles gonna go. Don't matter.
There you go.
I wasn't mad at that. By the way, I see Eagle fans all in our Comcast business text line right now saying, Bonta, I don't hear you chirp about the Eagles now. Saquon's great. I told you guys I was worried about the Eagles before the season. I still can't stand you dumbass fans out there in Philadelphia. You still are clowns. Doesn't change the fact that you don't wear face paint every single day with a red nose.
You'll be
These guys are good.
For them next Sunday, though, against the Rams.
Yeah, do us a solid. Beat the Rams. There you go. Fly, Eagles, fly.
There it is.
And then you'll die in the playoffs.
Cut that.
And then you'll die in the playoffs. How about that? How about them apples? 888-957-9570. Let's get to the lines again, man. Line's still jam-packed after the Go Jerry Rice. Download the Odyssey app. He wants to see more outside throws. He wants to see more creativity. And they're stacking the box. That's what they were doing yesterday with Christian McCaffrey. Let's go. Get creative.
They're going to do that next week, too, in Green Bay. I bet you better believe it.
So. Matt LaFleur? Yeah. Oh, he knows this. Oh, there's no doubt. There is no doubt what Green Bay is going to do. Let's go to, let's get down to Fresno, California. And go to Dave. Dave in Fresno. What's happening?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, fellas. Yeah, I think, this ain't the day to talk about firing anybody. I think the frustrations are valid. I think it's been the same conversation every week. You know, I can think the in-game adjustments aren't there. Obviously the lack of creativity. What I would have liked to see, and I said this a couple of weeks ago when the news of McCaffrey coming back, I wanted to see the 3-headed monster of running backs. I mean, they all showed that they're capable. You know, there's no point into running McCaffrey into the ground. You know, every time he gets the ball, it's like 3 or 4 guys, you know, taking their shots on him. And, you know, with Brock, it's more of the same. With Shanahan, he gets these quarterbacks who are okay. Brock's a little above average, but he tries to do more with less. And, you know, you want to run that back again next year, that's fine. I mean, I don't see any changes for next year. You're going to have the same group, just a little older. And everybody's saying, well, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. What indication have you given anybody that he'd be willing to change anything? I mean, Brock had a quote after the game where he said, what did the coach say? He said, well, basically the players didn't execute. And that's more the same with Shanahan, the lack of accountability. You know, you see that with Debo. You know, you see that with some of the players, his favorite, you know, teacher's pets. They get that from the head coach. So I'm not saying fire him. I would love to see him see it through, but I guess the confidence is lacking with the fans that he hasn't shown any indication that he'll be willing to change, you know, bring in another offensive mind, or, you know, his approach is going to be more the same going forward. Mm-hmm. And we just got to hope the players execute, and they're not executing.
No.
And I don't know what you can expect for him to change.
Mm-hmm. No, we got to get innovative. Something has to shake here. And I wonder if we get to any point in the season presser, I may have to go to that. I'm going to go to that one. In the season press conference, Shanahan, whenever
King's
that
making
is.
an appearance?
Could be February, could be January, who the hell knows? Could be right after the last game of the season in Arizona. We don't even know. But will he be willing to adapt and bring in an outside voice? bringing a new set of eyes offensively and defensively.
Well, he did try to go after Belichick in whatever role he wanted. So to credit there, he tried to get Steve Spagnuolo. He tried to take him from Kansas City, and then Kansas City gave him a fat paycheck and said, no, Steve's good where he's at. So you pivoted to a guy within your own system after you fired Steve Wilkes. Nick Sorensen, who's been fine. I don't think he's been awful. I don't think he's been great. He's just been okay, been mediocre. Kind of like this whole team, though. That's the problem. You can't be okay with just mediocrity.
No, they've been mediocre.
And that's just not good enough in this NFC. It might have been good enough last year. It might have been good enough the year before when the NFC was down, but the NFC's coming up.
No.
The Eagles are for real.
Well, we
the
saw
Lions
that last
are for
year.
real. Yeah.
We saw it last year. Detroit and Green Bay had you on the brink. They had you on the brink. And they were coming. Like, we said this about Dan Campbell Company. They're coming. And you see what they're doing. They're dropping 645 yards on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know Jacksonville's done, but to smack them 52-6
that was impressive.
And do everything you wanted to do, they run the ball, pass the ball, throw it deep, throw it short, run it, screens. Gibbs is so explosive. That's the thing. Explosion. Jameson Williams jogged in on a 65-yard touchdown from the 30-yard line. He was jogging from the 30-yard line with two defenders chasing him. They got speed. Breakaway speed. Jahmyr Gibbs. It's like Mike Tyson punch-out. After we saw Tyson and Jake Paul in their money grab Friday night.
Did you watch that, by the way?
Yeah, I had it on. It was a joke. Mike Tyson had the uppercuts that was so fast, right? Well, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's lightning out there on the football field. Like, he is explosive. And I'm looking at the 49ers yesterday at Levi's. I'm saying, you know what? You need to put Garrido on the field. He's got some juice. He's got some explosiveness on a team that's lacking explosiveness. What did Baldy tell us a month ago? Well, I look at the 49ers, I think slow.
Yeah.
Can't be slow in this league, but it has some athleticism. What we talk about the Warriors all last season? Boy, you're slow and unathletic. You're getting blown by and can't get to the 50-50 balls. Well, what do the Warriors do? They got a little more athletic. They got a little faster, a little quicker, and now they're getting to the 50-50 balls or deflected ball. They're doing everything.
Just look at all the contenders in the NFC, Bonta. Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Eagles, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Arizona Cardinals, hell, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, pretty damn good. Minnesota Vikings, Addison, Justin Jefferson. There's a sense here, you're saying, right?
Yep.
At least a tandem.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, and I know you missed Kittle yesterday, even when Kittle's here, is Kittle and Juwan good enough?
I like Juwan.
I like Juwan too.
But you need more.
You need more
from the other guys.
You heard it from Jerry.
You know what we need more from? We need more from Deebo Samuel. That's what we need more from.
Time for the legal.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and AC1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station, always live on the free Odyssey app. I'm going to stall Pearsall out with the 2 targets and no catches and no yards. Juwan Jennings did what he has to do. But damn it, Deebo, Trent Williams, the big money players. Let's go! Can we get off a bumper run for once? Number one looks so slow out of his breaks. As you just heard Jerry Rice say, wherever he lined up and he went, I knew what route Deebo was running. And the defense knew what route Deebo was running. And he is just, they're all over him. They're all over him. Come on, man.
The Yak, Bonta.
Yeah, Yak Bros?
The Yak. Where's it at?
No, the Yak Bros make me want a yak because there's no yak happening. The only yak I'm thinking about is when I watch this team, it's a Hennessy because I need to get drunk watching this damn team. That's the yak I need right now in the 9 o'clock hour because we ain't getting it on the football field. Yards after catch, we ain't getting that. So I might as well go get the other yak, the brown stuff. Shout out Build a Piece of Team Hennessy because I need some right now. Let's go to Al in San Pablo. Al, what's happening?
Then after that, you're yakking on yourself. There you go.
Okay. So I've been listening carefully to you and to Jerry, and everyone is agreeing that if something is not working, you got to adjust. You got to have an identity. You got to have a finisher. You got to tweak. The adjustment, I think, and I believe this season is not over. The adjustment, I think, is that we have to put Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason on the field at the same time. At the same time. Not individually, but at the same time. I think this would make the team unpredictable because the defenses won't know who is going to get the ball in the backfield. And then there's the option of McCaffrey being a receiver and Mason at the running back. The play action would work, I think, quite well. Play action it to Mason, and then now you have McCaffrey as a receiver. But I think that is having both of those athletes in the backfield will make the team a lot more unpredictable, more creative, and they can finish games. Yeah. Because now you have these two backs in the backfield, and you can finish games because the defense won't know who's going to get the ball. And you can have all kinds of formations lined up that will make them highly effective. What are your thoughts?
I'm with you. I'm with anything. I like, you got to try something new.
I do agree with the caller, too, and to Jerry, that you don't have to set up the run to just start establishing the pass. Like that whole notion, like that's so old. Like
Bill Washington throw the ball to set up the run.
All the time.
Loosen up that defense.
All the time. Throw a deep bomb. Keep the defense honest. Do something.
That's the thing. I watched Joe Burrow yesterday on 4th and 2. These jokers had a 4th and 2 on 27-13. I said, it was 27-13. And the guy threw a bomb to T. Higgins against double coverage. He let it fly, and I got up out the seat. I started doing the gritty chest. It's like, what the hell's going on? I said, now that's football. We're seeing deep shots, bombs. Let it fly, please. But maybe you have nobody to let it fly. I don't know. But I'm thinking about Debo, and I'm thinking about now I'm starting to get frustrated. It's 9:07. I'm starting to get frustrated just thinking about reliving this game. I'm starting to lose my cool.
When's the last time Brock Purdy threw a deep bomb?
I don't know. I honestly do not know. How do you not have in your game plan 3 deep shots a game? Just test the defense. Just throw it up.
You drafted a speedster, too. It doesn't have to be a Debo. It doesn't have
Jacob Cowing.
Right?
Use his speed. Garindo. Hey, maybe you get him matched up on the linebacker. Just run deep. Run past these slow-ass linebackers Seattle brought to the table.
Dare I say the 49ers fans have more faith in Brock Purdy's arm than their head coach?
Maybe, I guess.
Kind of feels like
I don't know, or maybe Purdy's not pulling the trigger. I have no idea. But I'm looking all around the league, whether it's Russell Wilson and his little rainbow throws, or Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen. Now, I didn't watch all the Buffalo game because obviously I was at the Niner game, and so I don't know how many deep shots they took.
I hated that they were at the same time. I hated that yesterday.
But I'm watching. I saw Joe Burrow on 4th and 2.
Yeah.
4th and 2. Game on the line. Said, I'm throwing it deep. He threw that baby deep, and I was like, damn. What can we get that out here? I'll watch some of that action.
I love the aggressive mindset of Doug McDermott real quick yesterday. Like he understands about playing against the Chiefs. You just have to go for it.
Oh, yeah, Sean McDermott.
You can't play scared.
Yeah, Sean McDermott.
He's learned his lesson multiple times against that team. And the AFC in general, the Ravens, another team, and they lost to the Steelers. But that's what it takes to win games like that, to put your nuts on the table, so to speak. And I feel like the 49ers, time in and time out this year, they haven't been able to execute when those plays matter most.
Did I read the legal?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I'm not even sure. Elston, Oakland, what's happening? Just want to make sure.
You're good. Keeping you honest.
Hey. Good morning.
What's up, Elston?
First of all, man, I'm a realist, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or whatever, but I kind of predicted this team to be 9-8 at the beginning of the year. And right now, one thing that happened made me reverse that and go, they might even finish 8-9. And that was Deebo Samuel's putting his hand on another man on the team. All these guys growing up were the biggest, baddest ones on their high school team, their college team for the most part. To make it to the NFL, you got to be that bad, right? And for another man to put his hands in your face and hit you on national TV, that just causes so much dissension on the team. And I don't think that's recoverable this season. Okay, and Brock Purdy has outkicked the coverage for the entire season, and last year and the year before that, he's always outkicked the coverage, for lack of a better pun or whatever. But Tom Brady kind of pointed out in the Tampa Bay game, he missed so many throws. He missed like 3 or 4. Tom Brady was kind of like letting up off. He didn't want to go in on it. He'd be like, man, you can't. He said the guy caught the ball, but he put it in the wrong place. Because if he'd have put it in the right place, that'd have been an extra 35 yards. And you know, I need to make an admission here. I'm not only a client, but I'm also the president of the 49ers Hater Club. and I can't wait till they pay Purdy, because once they pay him, the Super Bowl window is over. I think it's over already. But
so you're a hater. Who do you root for?
I'm a Raider fan.
You loser. Get the hell out of here.
Don't make us look bad, Elston. Come on.
He got Brock Bowers, and that's about it, and a bunch of problems. Brock Bowers and a bunch of problems. Bye-bye, Elston. I want to hear from you guys. Win a damn game. How the hell do you lose a game? How the hell do you lose a game and then start gloating about another team losing? You got your own problems.
Misery loves company.
You got your own damn problems.
Niners will be pivoting that when it comes to playoff football when they're watching the Eagles on TV. You want to root against them?
I won't be rooting for anything. I don't care. I just want to get. I'm rooting for Lamar.
Did it in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs?
Yeah, absolutely. Because their fan base, is despicable.
That's fine.
They're disgusting human beings.
It's okay. Sports hate's
almost
good.
Cursed, right? I almost cursed just now. Talk about the Eagle fans.
No, you're wearing your Chiefs colors today. You're all in.
Right,
you and T Swift.
No, it's Mills High School. Mills High School, San Bruno, one of the best public schools on the peninsula.
How they doing in football? They win?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Shout out Palma High School. Big win over Sacred Heart.
How the hell? How do you you're a Raider fan?
He said he's the president. You're the president of the club.
Pumping your chest out. You just got smoked in South Beach.
All according to plan. All according to plan.